In this next video, my daughter interviews me about my experiences with severe constipation in autistic children. It is a serious subject, but with anything, if you can find the humor in it all, it can help you cope. So that being said, we felt it would be fun to keep it real and authentic and not crop out any of the bloopers. Partly because I actually don't know how to do that. So enjoy. So with autism or any sort of child with neurodivergent issues, they do have a high rate of constipation. And for parents, this is really hard to watch. Parents are always trying to find answers because some of the things that they're dealing with is the kids are straining to go to the bathroom. They might be afraid. There's bloating, there's gas, there's abdominal pain, there's leaky bowels. Needing to, it's not funny. Okay, start over again. No, I saw you laugh.
I think it's great. I think you should just be fun. Just have fun with it, you know? It's funny. It's just funny, you
know?
It's
my daughter's fault, okay. Okay, there you go. I'll do it again.
Okay. Maybe just move on to the next thing because we've already gotten you talking about leaky bowels, hemorrhoids.
Okay.
I just can't make it that far. It's not.
Okay. I know for myself, one of the big challenges is when those children still need to wear diapers even into their teens. It gets really expensive finding diapers that actually fit them. And then as the child gets older, they're also very self-conscious and self-aware. So it's a really big issue. The other challenge, especially we had in our family with one of my children, is when they're really constipated and bloated, they don't want to eat. And what the fear is, you've already got a child that is a picky eater, they're underweight, and so you have this really terrible cycle of being bloated, constipated, now I don't want to eat. And I remember with one child, it went on for quite a while, and he was very lethargic, and it was just really scary. And it causes a lot of extreme stress and worry for the parent. You know, it really is akin to what a parent who deals with a child that has anorexia, that's an incredibly stressful situation. And so our stress levels in dealing with our food and constipation issues are pretty similar to in the realm of eating disorders. I'm saying I'm too much, I'm just trying to think. But I remember that was a big challenge. And when I went to the doctors, especially for this one child, it was really bad that he just couldn't poop. We had to do enemas. I went to the doctor and they said, well, just give him mineral oil. You know, they were just, let's do drugs. That's all they told me to do. And because I don't always trust and I want to check, and I have a child that is already nutritionally deficient, underweight, and I go and I look up the mineral oil coats the lining of the small intestines and it blocks nutrient absorption. Why do I want to give my kid a petroleum product that's going to block nutrient absorption in the small intestine when he's already struggling to eat? So I'm like, I'm not going to do that. And so I embarked on a series of sorting this out for myself. With this one child, one of the things that really helped was for probably almost 2 years, he was still very little, but he was severely autistic, and he had a lot of allergies to dairy, allergies to soy, we would do warm baths. And unfortunately, that was the only way he could have a bowel movement, is the warm bath would relax him, and then the nervous system would work and he would be able to poop. And thankfully we had 3 bathrooms in the house, so whenever he went, then I'd disinfect and clean the bathtub, and that was quite challenging. The other worry I had too was being out in public with him in pools. The pools would do the same thing, so that was a challenge sorry, I shouldn't laugh about this, but sorry, I have other people here in the room with me right now. Remembering those memories, it's great that we can laugh about this now, but at the time it was quite mortifying, where it eventually got to the point where we would just set up a pool in our backyard, and we wouldn't go to public pools, and we would just do the pool there. Okay.
However long that lasted.
Yeah, that didn't last very long. So what are some of the causes of why these children are having these issues? Well, I know in my case, actually with all my children, because I have my own sensory processing issues and autism and so forth, I have real issues with sensory stuff, or it was much worse when they were little. I wasn't aware of the daily essential nutrients and other things at that time. And all my children had to be C-sections. So one of the concerns about a C-section child is they're not getting the good gut biome bacteria that they normally should get going through a vaginal birth. And they come out C-section and they're exposed to Staphylococcus bacteria and all the stuff that's on the nurses and the doctors in the room. And then if you can't breastfeed, because the next injection for their immune system and gut biome is through breast milk, most of my kids, I think my first got 2 weeks, and each child after that got maybe a week if they were lucky. So it was not a great start. Then there was dairy allergies, and there was soy allergies, and unfortunately in the day and age that they were conceived and we had to bottle feed, the option was dairy or soy. And so we had a lot of issues with the dairy, then we tried the soy, and Joseph, my more severe autistic child, was especially really struggled with that for a long time with the formulas. So that's some of the challenges of where it could start. The other issue is food sensitivity, so there can be allergies to foods, make it issue for going to the bathroom. The challenge we see with a lot of kids with food sensory issues is they want the same things: Cheerios, chicken nuggets, goldfish crackers, chocolate, those kind of things. No fiber. A lot of them historically are not big fans of fruit and veggies, so we're not getting fiber into them. The other issue we find with autism or neurodivergent kids is their vagus nerve is very weak. And the vagus nerve is your parasympathetic. It's your rest and digest. It goes to all the organs, so it helps you digest food. So the parasympathetic vagus nerve is very, very important. So if these kids are anxious, that nervous system is not going to work. They're always in a state of fight or flight. So that's another issue with these children as well. Medications that they're on and so forth, all of these things. Sorry, I'm gonna
Look up more. Okay. I'll lay you down too much.
Okay. So things that I did that helped, we would sneak in chia and flaxseed and psyllium seed into foods, especially for all the children, but especially for the youngest at the time. He really loved chocolate muffins, pancakes, so I would grind up the flaxseed. That worked a lot better. I find that the golden flaxseed was much nicer. The brown flaxseed's got a more bitter taste, so the golden flaxseed's sweeter. Chia, we could do smoothies. That was one thing that was a big bonus, and that's really what he ate for a long time. And we would actually put the chia in that. We actually put a little bit of psyllium husk, and there's also a product called inulin you can get at the health food store, and it's it'll bypass the digestive system, and your gut bacteria just loves it and feeds on it. So the more fiber and water that I snuck into him, his digestive system began to work. And also things to relax him. So we did the baths, we did weighted blankets, because I'm a massage therapist, abdominal massage, reflexology points on the feet, soothing nervous system massage. All of that was extremely helpful. And then also getting on the trampoline. The trampoline is like a full body lymphatic flush. Good for detoxifying, reducing inflammation. One of the concerns we think about is there might be a lot of inflammation in the brain in autistic kids. But just that jumping, like a little rebound or something, that exercise would move, and we'd have some great bowel movements after being on the trampoline. And so we haven't really had too many issues since. We've been really successful, and we did see a correlation that as his bowels and digestion got better, his brain, he was actually nonverbal for probably really till he was about 6. He really didn't speak. We didn't know if he'd ever speak. And I remember for the 2 boys that I had, doctors told me that they would never read, never write, and never speak. Because I had another nonverbal, but he started speaking about age 3. Well, the more severe one has reached a grade 8 level of high school, and he reads and writes just fine. And then the other one is able to go to college when he's ready. He's just a bit slower, but he definitely can hold his own at college. He's holding a job, and he writes beautiful work. So I don't always believe everything doctors tell you, because the brain is amazing. It can change. Now, I did want to relate one story of another child that I thought was particularly fascinating. And this child as well had severe constipation issues for a lot of years. It was actually quite traumatizing for that child. And it got to a point when that child was about 12, they developed severe sciatica. It was going down the leg, and as a massage therapist, I'm like, oh my gosh, usually, there's a muscle that pinches the sciatic nerve, or there's something in the spine. We went to doctors, they got injections, and they just couldn't figure out what was causing the sciatic pain. And this child had had years and years of struggling with constipation. So finally we went to a pediatrician at the local hospital, and this pediatrician had just recently moved from India. And as you'll see in my videos, I have a lot of scars. I'm a big wannabe fan of Bollywood and anything Indian, and I've loved Ayurveda. I've studied Indian medicine. That's been a big fan. And so this doctor, she says, let's do an MRI right away. And we did an MRI, and she comes back and says, this child has something called a megacolon. And it's really important. I want to share the story for you parents to know what this is. A megacolon is, the colon just stretches out bigger than an adult size. And so what happens is the more recent food, or the entrails and poop or whatever, come out, but old stuff stays behind because it's so stretched out. And so for this child, they had a big, well, it turned out it was 3 pounds of this feces had calcified, and everything new was bypassing it. But what was happening was the sciatic nerve was being pinched from the inside, something that was very rare. No one really I had never even heard of that. It was fascinating that the sciatic nerve could be pinched from the inside, from the colon. So the Indian doctor she said, this is what we're going to do. And she sent the instructions up to the hospital. And the hospital's like, okay, says we're going to do a milk and molasses enema. So this child had, for an adult size, you have to do 1 cup of milk to 1 cup of molasses. You warm it up until the molasses liquefies and blends with the milk, and then cool it to room temperature, because we do not want to burn them from the inside out. That's terrible. Not funny. Anyway, but you get it back to body temperature, and then this was given to the child in an enema, and I think actually they got 2 doses. I think it was extra, and then the child or the adult who has this issue, you hold that mixture in for as long as you can, and I think the child held it in probably like 5 minutes was max, and then my child just said, I have to go to the bathroom, and we gave them privacy, and it was pretty emotional, because it was almost like watching your child give birth. It was quite something. But after that, the sciatic pain went away, and the doctors usually say that when you've had a megacolon, you have to keep everything flushed out, because it takes about 6 months for that elasticity for it to come back to normal. So it's really important to keep that out. But that was an incredible, it was painful to watch my child suffer through that, but it was scientifically, it was incredibly fascinating for me. So
pooping's good.
Yeah, pooping's good. I think we'll end it there.
I feel like that's not a good ending, though. You need to end with like some sort of like
I don't know how to
Like to all you parents out there, I totally get how it feels
Okay.
to be at your wit's end with your children, and you just want the best for them, right? Like you're not
Yeah.
mad, like something like that, and then just be like,
Yeah.
like I totally know. I'll give you all my inside secrets. I don't know, something.
Yeah. So to kind of wrap things up, I want you to understand how much I understand that. I mean, we joke. I mean, a lot of in our family we have poop jokes, and we kind of laugh about it, and it's kind of fun to get with other parents of special needs kids who have a lot of similar issues. We'll compare stories, we'll laugh about it, but really when the child's in it, it's really not a laughing matter, because it actually can be life or death. I think a couple times one of my other children was actually in the hospital getting IVs, and because they were so dehydrated and struggling, and so it really becomes very serious because it's affecting their health, ability to go to school and just have a life. And for parents, it is struggling. Now, the last thing I did want to mention, which is kind of fascinating, is they did a study on a group of autistic children that had these constipation issues, and they had seen that their gut biome was not very diverse, which is really, really important. And they put them on the daily essential nutrients. And then after, I think, about a couple months, they went back and retested, and their gut biome was incredibly varied. It was like really healthy, robust, and they were pooping, digestion was going really, really great, and they were definitely seeing improvements in their cognition and emotional regulation. So I really think that if you could do a combination of the daily essential nutrients and then also extra fiber, exercise, there's a lot of other things, create like a sort of a whole treatment plan, I think we can rebuild the health of our gut and our intestines. Thank you.
That's a good ending.
Oh, that's so hard.